Welcome to Life Through a Dram, where Danny Brown shares his take on life, being a better person, and appreciating the here and now, all accompanied by a dram and a fine single malt whiskey. And now, here's your host, Danny Brown.
Hi guys, and welcome to this week's Life Through a Dram episode. I want to speak a little bit about belief, faith, and religion, I guess, today. I'm not a religious guy per se, but I do have certain beliefs, and obviously, religion means a lot to a lot of people. So I just wanted to sort of dissect it a little bit and just offer my take and why I have that take. I'm going to sort of start with I don't know if you've ever read the book A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, and it was made into a movie I think last year or a couple of years back. But there's a moment when the tree monster is telling the main character, a boy called Connor, a story about the tree's past. And the tree is the titular monster, of the title, A Monster Calls. It's a really good book. But anywho, this moment when the tree monster is talking to the character Connor about the tree's past, he's using stories to teach Connor about life and how to deal with different situations. In the particular story that this episode is talking about, the tree talks of a parson and how the tree punished his parson for something he'd let happen. I won't spoil the story of the book by describing the punishment, and the lead up to it is amazing. As A Monster Calls, it's a wonderful book that should be read by everyone. But one of the things that the tree said stuck in my head, and to quote the tree, belief is half of all healing. Belief in the cure, belief in the future that awaits. And here was a man who lived on belief, but who sacrificed it at the first challenge, right when he needed it the most. Now, in the context of the book and the story example that the tree is sharing, it's a powerful commentary, since you know, as the reader, how much the loss of belief had cost the pastor. But even on their own, the words belief is half of all healing are so true, so meaningful. Like, they're relevant to any situation. If you think about it, belief is half of all healing. I'm an atheist. I mentioned at the start of the show that I'm not a religious person. I stopped believing in God and religion, I think, when I was about 9-10 years old. And I completely respect the beliefs of others for whatever their God is. Personally, I just can't buy into the one God over all others, mindset and sometimes brainwash education that some schools and educational facilities go through. And I emphasize some. This isn't a bash on religion, far from it. But since becoming an atheist, and especially in my adult years, I've had some interesting discussions with friends and peers of all religious backgrounds, as well as folks who are agnostic. And one of the things that come up is, but if you don't believe in God or any God, doesn't that mean that you don't believe in things like spirituality or preordained futures? And personally, I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I mean, like I said, I'm not a Christian, but I will celebrate Christmas. But instead of celebrating it as the birth of Christ, I'll celebrate it as a time for giving and for loving, and for being with family and people that matter to you. Spirituality, now that's an interesting beast. For me, spirituality is, it can be believed in more than God because it's all about overall faith as opposed to servitude to a sole deity. For example, if you look at what's happening in the US at the moment, I have faith that good people will rise and counter the hate and ignorance that's coming as part of his presidency. And you can see it. Today, I think in Washington, maybe I'm not sure what it is. There's a rally there. There's a big demonstration. There was more demonstrations recently about the zero policy immigration policy. So I do have faith that people, good people rise and counter that hate and ignorance. But I don't believe that a God will keep Trump on the straight and narrow. It hasn't happened yet, and I can't see it happening. So for me, that's the difference. True belief is hope, as opposed to believing in something that is, logically speaking, if you think, impossible to come to fruition. I'm sure that you if you believe in God and you attribute stuff that's happened to his input, then respect and fair play to you. But personally, I just can't buy into that. And going back to the point of the tree monster's words, belief is half of all healing. And I do believe that love can overcome hate in the long run. We're not born with hate in us, which means we can prevent hate from forming. If you think kids are born with no inclination of hate, racism, misogyny, anything, it's taught, it's bred into them by parents or peers, where the parents don't, stop it from happening, etc. So that's put into them. They're not born with that. So we're not born with hate in us. There's room in the world for all religions or no religion. Take your pick. It doesn't have to be a zero-sum policy, right? If there was no religious divide, I really believe that humanity would win overall. You look at some of the wars, from the last century and beforehand, and they've been primarily, stoked by religious disagreement or, religious anti my religion versus your religion. So if there was no divide, or if people just learned to live with each other's religion, I do believe humanity would win. And finally, people are inherently good. We just need to nurture that. If we nurture that, if we nurture the goodness and stop putting hate into kids and growing them into hateful adults, it can be, such a big difference in the world. Of course, it could all be naivety on my part, but like one of my heroes, John Lennon, once said, "You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one." And he said it much better. Obviously, when you're singing it and with his voice, it comes out much better. But the emotion behind that is true. So, like I say, belief is half of all healing. Get that half right, and we're already, halfway to a better world, which is something that I can truly believe in, and I hope you can too. So this has been Life Through a Dram, guys. Today I'm drinking a really nice surprise called Doonbegan, which is a little-known Islay whiskey from the Isle of Islay. It's very smoky, very peaty. My friend Sam Fiorella would love this whiskey. And it's got a nice afterkick of vanilla that just stays with you all the way down. So, Shlan Shavar, guys, and we'll speak soon. Take care.
This has been Life Through a Dram. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode.